to jobs in many other industries and does not increase the risk of mental and physical illness. Adam has resigned, but the company says 15,000 new recruits are joining Amazon over the Christmas period. Richard Bilton, BBC News.
This raises an important issue for businesses and employees alike. Where do legitimate demands for efficiency end and stressful working conditions begin? With me now is a man who knows. Beyzade Beyzade is an employment lawyer with the law firm Astute HR. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Broadly speaking, let's just talk about jobs in which people are not necessarily paid much money. You know, plenty of those around. And the jobs can be quite repetitive. And they can require that you hit deadlines quite frequently, for example. So what kind of stress does that cause?
Well, the amount of stress that could potentially cause is fairly vast. I mean, 40 million people in the European Union complained about stress this year alone, according to the CIPD.
In all range of jobs?
In all range of jobs, but many of those would be in manual jobs where a low range of effort will be required, but in high-intensity work. And the repetitive nature of such work and the lack of any risk assessments at the outset of such work is what is a major stress factor.
Do you think that companies engage in thinking about this?
I think many companies turn a blind eye to the fact that vigorous risk assessments are required, particularly in cases such as the Amazon case where night shifts are involved. And the work involved is more than 8 hours and it involves heavy manual handling. What
does it do to you if you do a night shift repeatedly?
If you did a night shift repeatedly, I mean, I'm no expert on the medical effects of it, but there has been evidence out there to suggest that it can cause both mental and physical stresses on an individual.
OK, so if you're working for a company and you feel you and perhaps a group of people are put under a particular type of stress because of the nature of the job and the way that it's structured, what can you do about it?
Well, if you're in a trade union, you can consult your trade union. In the alternative, what I'd suggest is reviewing your company's health and safety policy, seeing when it was last updated, and asking your employer for a copy of the risk assessments to see both whether an individual and the task-specific risk assessment has been completed.
Very difficult, isn't it? Because some jobs just need doing, and that's the way it is, right?
It is,
or is it the way that it's structured?
The major problem at the moment is the gap in knowledge when it comes to employment law and health and safety legislation. I mean, there are many laws that you can bring claims under, but for an employee to know all this will take a lot of effort to go out there and see it. And
when you go knocking on the door, how responsive are companies, do you think?
I think many companies, particularly companies which have an office in the UK and other offices abroad, are quite reluctant to change long-standing practices and policies. But more and more companies are now receptive to having regular audits done to their policies and procedures, and to put these in line with health and safety and working time regulations.
Let's be controversial. Do you think you have more chance of being heard if you are in a better paid job?
I think, yeah, certainly have more chance of being heard if you're in a larger company because they're more in the public eye and they've got to worry about media pressure.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And there has been a change of heart at the top of the world's biggest retailer.